was brought to the floor of the House by our very own Franklin, that presently the Uyo Village Road has been overtaken by a lot of refuse dump, and not just that, it's currently being blocked by personnel of the NDLEA who purportedly wants to destroy, seize contraband or hard drugs. And of course, I'd like to speak to a kickstart conversation this morning with Otwekon Franklin on that matter. So you took your village road coming down here, and of course, I'd like for you to tell parliamentarians your experience flying that road this morning.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to use this medium to echo the fact that we are operating almost a lawless society. Because I wouldn't imagine plying a road. We just slept and wake up in the morning and we ply the road, and then the next thing we are told that the road has been cordoned off by officials of NDLEA who want to destroy, seize drugs or contraband items. I would have thought that the best thing for NDLEA to have done would have been to send out notices to inform road users and then give enough information. As I was coming down, cars lined up from the point where they blocked it, that is where you have the nature farm there, close to where you have the Redeem, the former Renal Bible Church collapse. Somewhere at that point is where they blocked. And then you have cars coming in from the Calabar to highway, trying to, get to Barracks Road. And then the cars coming in from Barracks Road all got stopped. Then NDLEA officials came out with guns, threatening the road users to forcefully return back. There was no pre-notice that the road will be cordoned off, will be used for any exercise. There was no information whatsoever. No one stand at the end of these roads. And there was no barricade, no sign. And this is becoming like, we are like almost like a lawless society. I had to engage them to ask them, was there any pre-information that the road will be cordoned off? Was there any sign on the road? Why entry from Brass Road end? Or why coming in from the Wetongo axis? Was there any sign that the road is blocked? No sign. And so this is bad. So I think that there is need for law enforcement officers like the NDLEA to know that we are operating under the law, and that if you want to use the highway for any operation, you should let the public know. And in any case, you should inform the Ministry of Environment, and then the state government should also be on the know, so that the road will be properly, blocked, and then road users will now be able to use the adjoining streets. I have to now do a detour passing through, Calabar to highway. There are other cars who insist that they have to pass through there, and God knows what will happen. That being said, the road again has been overwhelmed by refuse. The relevant agency, the Akwa Ibom environmental, what is it called? Akwa Ibom waste management agencies under my friend Prince Akpadikim, has become overwhelmed by refuse. What is happening on the Uyo Village Road today is like a death trap. If you pass through there, in fact, you must use nose mask. And even at that, you must, after you pass through that refuse part, you must open your vehicle for air to come in. And that is where you have the close to the government house, you have the Uyo Government Council, you have, I think, the primary health care is somewhere close there.
Yes,
you have the nature farms, you have the Redeemed Church, and every other people are living within that suburb. What is happening? Why can't that refuse be cleared off? Why is it that up to today, Prince Kim has not informed us what he's doing in that axis? The other day we were passing through there. When I left the studio, I was passing through there. Refuse we are dumped on the major road, on the road that has been caved in. And then we stood there for them to use payloader to push it aside for us to now find our way through. So something has to be done on this Uyo Village Road, Menace.
Well, as far as Uyo Village Road, Menace is concerned, of course, the issue of refuge across Akwa Ibom State. I recall yesterday stumbling on the fact that just beside the state secretariat, there is beginning to amass a very large quantity of refuge being dumped just by the entrance of the state secretariat. And then I made efforts to reach out to the chairman of the waste management, Prince Kim, and unfortunately he has not, he didn't pick the call and has not returned that call. But then let's look at your village road. You recall that not too long ago, the state government, through the secretary to the government, Dr. Emmanuel Okuwem, had issued a 2-day ultimatum for refuge no longer to be dumped by the roadside. and they have given a directive for the Ministry of Environment and along other government agencies to ensure that a pathway is created so that the trucks bringing in the refuge do not get to, dump those refuge by the roadside, but take it down through the road that will be created. Fast forward, is almost a month after that directive has been issued and nothing seems to be done about it. Would you say this has been a statement just to pacify the minds of road users who at that point were consistently being on the side of government and asking for something to be done about the road?
When I read the press statement by the SSG, Dr. Emmanuel Ekuwem, I laughed. Why? Because I know that it has no weight. I know that nothing will be done. I know that it will be pushed aside because we are in political season, political era, and the relevant agencies of government officials are involving in the politicking. I would have thought that the relevant agencies whose bosses are involved in active politicking would have been relieved of their appointment. Let those who don't have anything to do with active politicking, like civil servants, be asked to man those positions. Currently, have you been to the ministry to see what is happening? Virtually every top political office holder that is in the ministry will always move with the government trend to any event where the political leader, where the preferred candidate of the government is going. And this is affecting the business of government. So when the SSG came up with the press release, for me, just like what you said, was meant to pacify road users like us who have been shouting and lamenting that the road has been overwhelmed by refuse. So it is just like pouring water on the back of tortoise. Nothing will happen. It just poured and then it cleans off. The relevant agency, the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Waste Management agencies should not just be given a press statement. There is need for them to go there. I pass there almost every now and then. I have not seen government agents, the relevant agents of government doing anything there. I only see truck and those who are there to clear the road, to push, to clear the part that is now remaining. And this is road that government spent several millions of the taxpayers' money to build, to construct. And that road has been caved in by refuse. And government just came off the press statement, and up to today, nothing has happened. So it is only in Akwa that we can see a government official at the level of SSG issue a directive and nobody act on it.
Indeed, it's a very sorry situation that we're finding ourselves. But what is the fate in a society where government officials have no respect and regard for the plight of the common man? What then can the common man do to ensure that justice is served across borders?
The only thing the common man can do is to know those you are electing into offices. Thanks goodness we will be having election in 2023. I keep on emphasizing this. Get your PVCs. Know who you are voting for. Don't vote because you are given money, you are given Greek gift that is given to you because of election. Don't vote because someone has brought you wrapper that carries somebody's picture, or somebody has given you bags of rice that carries somebody's picture or party's logo. Vote because the person you are voting for is qualified to lead you, knows the onions, knows the rudiment of government and what governance is all about. Will be able to give you good dividends of democracy, not because of sentiment of being compromised or because you believe that your friend is voting this person, you also queue to vote. The voters should know that their vote will decide the future of the state. So as we are heading towards election, the advocacy now that we are mounting on is that get your PVC and vote in the right people that will lead the state.
All right, indeed. While we apologizing, we are hoping that the NDLEA would sometimes or would oftentimes stick to obeying the rules of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and take into consideration the need of the mind of the society. It is very important that we hope that today, while they're blocking the road, they get to find a very quick solution to ensure that people don't get to and the situation doesn't skyrocket out of proportion. But then I think one would believe that the NDLEA of all security apparatus would have known that burning of such a level of toxic waste should include the Ministry of Health, like we've been told, include the Ministry of Environment and other government agencies, and not just the personnel of the NDLEA coming off to carry out such hazardous burning of waste without necessarily, we cannot ascertain at this point in time if they will be able to take the necessary precautionary measures to ensure the safety of lives and properties around that environment as far as those drugs that they're purporting to burn is concerned. But then I think at some point we'll have to reach out to the NDLEA and get to bring them to speak to the people of Akwa Ibom